We're recording with Raymond. Back in house again, August 1st. We're doing it last month of summer. And I am recovered from burnout. I'm recovered from burnout. And I realized what caused my burnout. And my burnout was caused by bad relationships. And the theme of a lot of bad things that happened to me are I am not great at telling people that I am not happy, and I'm not good at trusting my intuition, so I've got to work on that. Like, my creative work is gonna get back on track. I'm gonna start making that good money again, but I have to be careful not to make the same mistakes over and over again and expecting different results. And I realized that being with people who prioritize other people over you is dangerous. It's dangerous for me. And it's really hard when people take the easy way out. So I'm really glad that I am with friends with people who don't take the easy way out and look at situations and think, I would not be able to live with this decision. And I'm going to treat Alita accordingly. I'm going to treat Alita really well because she's a good friend. And I'm really grateful that I've met a lot of those people. I'm so happy right now. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it made me realize that, like, I have been in a lot of bad relationships, but the friends that I do have are really good. And I'm working on making some Twitch, I'm working on making a set of Twitch layouts for fall, because the fall season's coming up and the winter season's coming up. And I really, really, really like fall and winter. Like, I like fall more now because of just like harvests of food and just good eats, and everyone's there's a lot of Asian holidays like the it's Cambodian Oban that I'm really excited to make my first mooncakes this year, and I will be recording them, and hopefully I'll make some espresso ones. We'll see. Supply and demand. My rice is growing beautifully. My beans are growing. I should have planted more beans, but you live and you learn. I think I might have to buy some winter wheat so that we have winter wheat in the summer. I mean, the spring to harvest, and then the soil will be upkept by the roots of the winter wheat, and it will feed into the soil and make the soil fantastic. I'll harvest the wheat, and we can use the wheat in our spring, summer bread baking. It'll be fantastic. We don't have that much space, surface area, and I have these old seeds, so we'll see if these will grow. It is winter giant spinach, and hopefully I'll be able to harvest them throughout all winter, because if you just cover the spinach, it'll keep growing. It'll be great. Anyway, I am doing a lot of art color practices. What I do with my art color practices is that I look at the palette and see if I can pull up the color by eye. Like when you're painting, you're mixing the paints by yourself. I'm using the color palette and not the eyedropper tool to mix color. And I'm trying to do that so I am able to do that much better in real life. And I'll say that when you're doing that digitally, drawing digitally and using the color dropper, like the color tool, not the eyedropper tool, to like sample the color, but you're just choosing it from the palette, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's easier to do it by hand with a set of colors that you have. So I am practicing that, so my eye referencing and color balancing gets better, because I need to know, what color sets a good mood and practice based on that. So I'm doing a lot of pulls from retro and 90s tokusatsu. So like the real old original generation Kamen Rider, and the 90s Kamen Rider, like Kamen Rider 5. I'm doing a study of a scene that I screenshotted from YouTube, and it looks great so far. It's got a big shot of Kaisa, and then it's gonna have the background view, and that will help me practice pulling colors from the 90s color palette and rendering it seen in digital art. And I'm going to start doing more practices like that so I become better at doing color theory. And color theory is really hard. Like, it's not one of my strong points. That and hands and lighting in images. And I have a good baseline of just like, because I work in 3D, so I can like look at something and be like, okay, this is how the building is. This is how I want to, if I want to draw the building, this is how I construct the building. If I want to do a mecha robot, this is how I construct the scene. And then I know what the texture of metal is. I know how to texture metal by artistically. I know how to do weathering. I know how to do metallics and shines. And I could get better at metallics and shines, but I am able to do that now from 3D. And I'm able to expand on that through art. And it's been good. Yeah, like I'm learning a lot from art studies. I'll have to consistently do that for, until I become an old person who can't have their face 10 inches away from the page. I mean, I feel like, or I can't draw anymore. Like, I literally can't see the paper anymore. And I'm really looking forward to a life of art. I've been going through all my old art. I'm laughing because I saw images of when I was 10 years old and I drew a journal cover for this. It was Toshi from Evangelion and like maybe some sort of like Rurouni Kenshin guy. I'm not sure it's Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin. It looks like I drew a picture of it and I didn't trace it. I just drew it like freehand. And it was the front page of my journal. Like there was a section that's like covered out and it is really funny to me. I would draw something like that. And I saw an image of myself when I was 17, and it was my teacher told me that it was a good idea to draw a picture in Photoshop, which is a big deal. Like, I was learning Photoshop in 2003, and I was drawing pictures of things digitally with a Wacom tablet. And so I drew this picture. Oh no, I scanned it, and then I didn't have a Wacom tablet until I was in college, my second year. So I scanned this picture, I cleaned it up in Photoshop when there was very little tutorials and very little like ways of doing things, so I'm just drawing in a certain way. It is really hilarious. I colored it digitally and then I printed it out and ironed it onto a t-shirt, and then I wore it around to Niagara Falls and other places. And this is not what other teenagers were doing in 2003. Like, teenagers do that now. They make their own anime t-shirts of their own OCs and wear it around. But Lita has to be ahead of the curve and weird, completely weird. And yeah, my last piece of art that I was looking at from a art meme from 2009. Yeah, 2009. And yeah, I was starting to get better at coloring, and this is when I started being known as a colorist. But I wasn't really a good colorist compared to my peers. I'm really good at watercolor right now. Like, I am I'm getting close to being a good watercolorist now. I practice a lot, but with that being said, yeah, I've just been looking at old art pieces and checking my art growth, and yeah, I'd like to thank American Comics for getting me through learning 3D, because for some reason I did a Batcave, and when I was doing my project where you had to do a cabin in the woods, I chose to make a 3D model of Batman and a character OC I made up as a joke to practice 3D unwrapping, and in my class, we were not taught how to model humans or 3D unwrap in the way that I had been doing it. And I got a lot of angry shouts by my classmates who didn't realize that I had bullied my college teacher in the extra classes how to do this 3D work. Like, no, he did not teach me of his free will. He taught me kicking, screaming, and crying. And I learned a lot under him. And he is the reason why I am really good at 3D. Him and the Sprytel creator, Jin, that's what J. And he was my college teacher was the reason why I'm good at 3D Studio Max, and the creator of Sprytel is the reason why I'm good at Blender. And we'll leave it at that. And I'm really glad that my college teacher gave me the fundamentals. And after that, I strayed away from realistic art because I feel like I really focused on speed and rendering, and trying to make the fastest art with the best quality. And yeah, I feel like in the most optimization. So, and for my 3D work, I tried to learn low poly 3D modeling, and it didn't turn out as good. Like, I feel like I follow rules religiously, which I should just ignore it. Like, I shouldn't care about what people think the rules are. I feel like that would benefit me a lot. It made me going through my old art and making sure that I am critiquing myself accurately and growing as an artist has been really good. I learned a lot. I've practiced a lot of programs, and I'm definitely becoming a better artist. I do a lot of plein airs. I've been doing a lot of digital plein airs recently, and it is really good. I really recommend doing digital plein airs as well to practice color and using a palette instead of an eyedropper tool to better render a scene and make a color palette, because it also helps in your non-digital art, your organic watercolors and pencils and pens. And I've been improving a lot, and it's so crazy. Like, I feel like I will always be considered to be in this middle stage. I'm starting to get to the intermediate expert level. Like, I won't be able to draw like Michelangelo, but I feel like I draw well enough that people have started to take notice and complain about it. And I don't really see anything